What's up, YouTube? Today I wanted to do a little garden tools video, like some of my most used tools and how these tools make my gardening experience a little more efficient and productive. You know, basically some of the first things you're gonna want when you become a gardener is watering cans. I got a 2-gallon and one a little under a gallon, and I use these all the time. This one mostly stays indoors for me, and this one's for when I just transplanted something or I want to keep it wet and it's not near a hose. So I always keep a 2-gallon on me. Basically, what's next is some hand tools. You're gonna want a shovel that has a deep scoop, just for filling containers and stuff. Once you get into like the 5, 7s, and 10-gallon nursery pots, this is awesome. This is by Garden Weasel, and I own multiple tools by this company, and they're just awesome. You're truly gonna want to have two hand shovels, one for scooping, and then this one's more or less for digging small holes. Got multiple features, you know, got inches, and then it got the serrated side, a bottle cap opener, and a rope cutter. Or you can use it to cut branches. Has multiple uses. And they're my two most used hand shovels. I definitely love using them. They're a must-have. Basically, before those, I was using some old plastic one, you know, and it did the job, but this year I added some new. You're gonna want some garden scissors. These are cheap. They're like under $12. I seen 2 for $7 on Amazon the other day, which I don't need them right now, but definitely gonna buy them later in the season, or probably next season. But I leave mine outside. I used to keep it in my pocket, put the tip on, put it on my mantle, you know, all types of things. And towards the end of the season, I'm just like, yeah, I might as well just keep it outdoors, and I'll just replace the spring if I have to or whatever. But these are super small. They cut good. Even when the spring's rusty, they still got play, which is awesome. You're definitely going to want a pair of garden scissors if you choose to start gardening. One that people always overlook. This is a general tool. This isn't just for my garden. A tape measure I use very frequently. For the garden, I think it's good to know. It's good for you to know. It helps you sound a little more intelligent if you know how much square foot you're working with, and you know, just like it will help you when you build your diagram of how you're going to grow your plants. You can know like this bed's this long, and that's how many inches like you can put a plant apart and stuff like this. And or if you're building a new bed, you can measure how big the space is and go to the store and get the lumber cut, or you can cut the lumber yourself here. But if you don't feel safe using a circular saw or anything, I would just ask the people at Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever you're from to just have them cut it. But you're gonna need the tape measure to have the appropriate size, you know. So this is one of those tools that I always keep in my car and I always keep at my house. These right here, I got a collapsible shopping cart. Well, shopping bin, cart, whatever. And basically, this I use for when I harvest. This year I actually harvested a lot of stuff, so this was very important. Before the collapsible tote, I was using my shirt, ceramic bowls, whatever I could put stuff in, and it was just a headache because it's worth it when you get a nice one to put all your vegetables and stuff in. So basically, This one is from Fiskars, and it's fairly cheap to be honest, but what I like about this one is it's shallow. I like the fact that it has drain holes so that you can wash your roots or your root vegetables or your lettuces right in here or whatever you gotta wash off. Then it got one that can keep my eggplants here, my root vegetables here, and then other stuff in the middle. And I just really like this, and it's very well made. And I like that the handles come together and it's not like two separate handles. It's just like really thought out. I definitely recommend this. This is very cheap, very cheap. Honestly, I think that was like maybe $2 less than the collapsible one. So normally the past couple seasons I use my 4-prong to do like all the weeding and stuff, just like to help extend my body so I'm not bending over as much and hurting my back and make things a little faster. But the cool part about the metal one is you can hear the rocks when you're raking, and you can pull out rocks and other stuff to get a more consistent like soil. Now this, I did not completely replace it, but I do use something else because this is good for ripping out roots and all other stuff. I always recommend a 4-prong. This thing actually is very useful. But I did stop using it to weed, and I got an Action hoe. This one's from Radius, and the cool part about the Action hoe is it got play, and it's made to cut the roots. So it like goes into the soil and it just rips through the first layer of soil, and it makes things a lot easier. This is probably one of my favorite tools I got this year, and fairly expensive. I definitely wouldn't say they're a necessity. You definitely could make with a 4-prong and just use your hands to pick out stuff, but this is definitely a tool that I had in my shopping cart for a while. A shovel. I use multiple shovels, but as of right now, my favorite this year is the Root Slayer. It helps with pretty much everything, This thing just cuts through soil. And if you're planting bigger stuff, this is really cool. I use it for pretty much my banana plants. When I dig up the pups and stuff, it just slices right through the corm, and it usually helps me preserve them better because the old shovels would be a little harder to get through there, and it would do a little more damage, and I'd have to do like an extra dig, and it just was a little more messy. But I added this. I really should have a normal spade with my group of tools, but I figured this would be like a spade and my digging shovel, but I still use a regular spade quite frequently, so definitely have a nice shovel. And I also use like a flat shovel for like edging and random stuff around the yard. So I would say have like 3 different shovels like that I personally use. So I'd use this, a spade, and then just like a edging shovel. They all have their multiple uses. Something you're gonna need is stakes. These are the plastic coated ones. These are great. I got these for squash and pepper plants and other stuff. And basically these bamboo ones were my cost-effective stakes for this season because I didn't want to drop a bunch of money into buying stakes. But these, you can get 50 of them for pretty cheap, and I would just look for 50 of these for next season. But they get more expensive once they get taller, because when you're growing indeterminate tomatoes or like vines, you're definitely gonna want taller spears. And the cool part is, for the bamboo, if you go on Facebook and post, hey, does anybody have bamboo in their backyard or whatever, here in America, bamboo's everywhere. And basically I just would ask Facebook or go on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm sure you'll find either pre-cut ones or someone posting that you can come cut your own. And this is definitely a must, but I'm using these next season, and I'm building a full tomato trellis over my tomato section for next season, and it's going to be consisting of PVC piping, but just so I can grow tomatoes taller. I did have a problem where the stakes were falling over, or the tomato plant was growing taller than the stakes. Another tool that I really liked, and this is my third one of the season, I use these to make my sugar snap pea trellis and all. And basically I cut it into segments so I can mold it, so that I can like basically, you know, hold the tomatoes or the other plants to the stakes, or to train certain branches on my fruit trees. And you know, these things come in handy a lot. The garden ties is definitely a tool you're gonna want to have. Fairly cheap. I mean, it's under like $13. You can get like 75 foot or something. For containers, collect them. You see a plastic container, if you plan on gardening, collect them. When you see them by the trash, get them. Trust me, you can never have enough of these. And even if you do get enough, give them to someone else. Help another gardener out. I have so many now, but I need them because I plan on having I plan on giving away a lot of cuttings next season. I'm gonna be doing a lot next season, so it was good that I got a bunch of these. My one tool that was the most expensive, the most versatile, and probably one of the things that I was most hesitant to buy, but it turned out to be one of the best things I could have bought, was my Gorilla Cart. Basically, it got the dump feature, and it's real easy to put together, but basically it got the front swivel and it backs up so nicely. And this cart was expensive, but it was definitely worth it. And it's a tool that's saving my back, my neck stress, because when you're holding buckets all the time and it's like this, it saves me a lot of time, and I'm able to move more stuff at a time. And I use this thing for everything pretty much. I pretty much use it every day. It's worth every penny. Since it's the most expensive tool, I do treat it like a baby, that's for sure. But I do use it. And one of my best tools, and it was actually a gift for Father's Day, which is awesome because, you know, Father's Day is a very special day for me. I have one child of my own, and it's always just rewarding. And I want to have my son set up so when he matures a little bit, he's going to be able to, I hope he has a gardening passion or something. I want him to have a controlled environment to like experiment with, and that's what my garden is pretty much. This is my little lab, and all the plants are my specimens, and it's just crazy. Like, you don't understand it until you get that green thumb, or it's just in you, you know, like every plant I look at, and they all become special, even foliage and all types of plants. But my next tool is a wand, fairly inexpensive. I think this was $22 or so. And basically it has different head options, and you can have different sprays. And I like the fact that like I can hold it and pretty much water pretty far away with this wand, because the regular nozzle is not really good for gardening in my opinion. It does the job, but it doesn't really. The retractable hose is a must. This was my Father's Day gift, was my retractable hose. It's the Glahoden one. There's like a bunch, and I didn't go with the most expensive one because I'm trying to keep this affordable, right? So I'm not gonna go buy a $300 retractable hose when a $140 one does the same job. You know, it's just right there. You cut your price. You save yourself $200 for something else. You know, if you buy the $350 one or the $300 one, this one was like $145. It was on sale. I think I got it on sale. It was a good sale. Like I wasn't gonna tell the person who wanted to get me a gift to get me the most expensive one, you know. But I told them like this is some items that I wanted, and they happened to get me one of the most expensive items on my list, which is awesome. And another thing you're gonna want to add is a reservoir tank if you're adding nutrients to a bigger space. That way I got 55 gallons of nutrients that I can water my whole garden. And I'm pretty sure that 55 gallons will go my whole garden and a whole nother couple beds, because I do plan on building some more beds for onions, potatoes, green beans, radishes and beets. I want to have their own area, because next year I think this is all going to be peppers. Here, I'll show you. Next year this should all be peppers, and that's going to be all tomatoes, except for the end's going to be eggplants. And you can see the size of my lemons. They're growing great. Freaking huge. Look at them. Pennsylvania, we got lemons. Mango, beautiful. It's got some new growth. My papaya. This is what I like to show people, is the baby papaya leaves. For some reason, they're just so cool. And basically, that's all I wanted to do. My main goal is sharing what garden tools I have, is so people can get ideas, and this is what I use. There's still some stuff I want to add to my garden for sure, but this is where I got to this season pretty much. I'm going back to saving mode, where I basically save my money through the winter so that I can sit and think about what I want to do, and B, save some money, and so I can sleep better at night knowing I have some money, and other reasons, because it's always nice to have some backup cash. And basically that's all. I want everyone to be able to share their ideas, and this is what I'm working with, and pass some love to the next gardener or the next person starting out, because a lot of people help me out, and I'm gonna definitely help multiple people out, and that's just gonna keep going. But for now, that's all. Have a great day, and I will be doing some more videos. I got some ideas in my head, and I just wanted to show you where I'm at for this season. And pretty much we're going back to saving mode. All my paychecks are going to go straight to the savings, and I'm going to not buy stuff till next season, because we're pretty much closing up the grow season.